Are you serious? Are you serious? I don't know if you've seen the snake that I had in the backyard. There's still a debate going on in the comments whether it was a copperhead or a corn snake. But it was 5 foot long. Anyway, I'll tell you about that and just a whole lot more what's going on. First of all, let's put a shout out, if we could, for www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. As we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to visible signs of aging like wrinkles and sagging skin and crow's feet and smile lines and are you serious? Everything else. And these effects start being most noticeable at age 40. When our collagen levels are reaching their lowest, each year they get lower by 1%. Research shows that collagen is responsible for the third of our skin's protein, providing the ingredients skin needs for structures and strength. That's why, guys, that's exactly why I've been using this right here. Collagen, multi-collagen. We've been talking about this for the last 6 years. This is incredible stuff. It's tasteless. It's odorless. You'll become ageless. Go right now to www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. If you want to look better, feel better, act better, seem to be better, and probably will be better, check it out now at healthwithpaul.com. All right. Yep. Yeah. So there was a snake in the backyard. I was out walking here in Florida, walking Bobo, little Bo, when this thing, I turned the corner and there it was. Now, Bo did not see the snake, which is shocking because Bo can see anything moving. She's very observant and wants to go get salamanders and catch anything she can see. And, of course, she's on a leash, but still. But we turned the corner, and there he was. She never seen him. I did. But I'm pretty good at identifying snakes. Or at least spotting them. Anyway, I hope President Trump also can identify them. I believe he can. And maybe that's what he's doing, is holding his friends close and his enemies closer. But one thing's for sure, the President of the United States has signed another huge deal this morning, this one with Qatar for $200 billion. The president says the $200 billion Boeing order is the largest order in Boeing's history and is full of praises for Qatar's leader and his country's marble palaces. Trump says the two leaders had discussed Russia and Ukraine, as well as Iran and their nuclear program, which he says Qatar has been a great help in working this out with this Iranian situation. He then says that Boeing's agreement's the largest order by anyone to order jets from Boeing, a $200 billion order for 160 jets. Boeing just got an order from Qatar for 160 jets worth $200 billion. He says tomorrow there will be a sort of a art fair that will show the latest planes. The leaders are signing a number of agreements in the field of defense, which he's not going to tell you about, including a statement of intent on military cooperation between the United States and Qatar. Now, earlier, President Trump said that this was a huge, huge deal, and Boeing has confirmed it is the biggest order they have ever received. So Trump has done a $600 billion order, $600 billion deal with Saudi Arabia for defense contract for planes and defense systems and all of that. Plus, they're going to do a lot of economic situation. And then Trump has done a $200 billion deal on behalf of Boeing. He's the best salesman Boeing's ever had, okay, President Trump. But Trump is doing what I said yesterday. He's doing diplomacy by using economics. He's using strength, diplomacy through strength, peace through strength. It's not just military strength, but it's economic strength. And he would rather do deals and keep the economy flowing between nations than bombs falling. I understand his diplomacy. I actually believe it's actually not a new diplomacy move. It's King Solomon. It's what King Solomon did. That's how he had peace with all of his enemies around him, is because he did economic deals with all of his neighboring countries, and they married their daughters and they married their daughters. And so it was back and forth. There was to create a reason to not fight with each other. Okay. We'll see how that works out. But right now, what we see is Trump is doing that. But then in a shocking move yesterday, in my opinion, when Trump stood up on the platform in Saudi Arabia and announced he was dropping all sanctions off of Syria, that all the sanctions that had been on Syria for almost 40 years have been dropped. Syria is back among the nations and going to become a player in the community. And President Trump has gone ahead and anointed this guy that I am very leery of, and that is Ahmed Sharar. Ahmed Sharar. I've talked about him. I've said I'm concerned that maybe he is the Assyrian in the Bible. You know, I here he is. This is him right there. I talked about it. I showed you prophecies in Isaiah chapter 10, prophecies in Micah 5. The Bible talks about an Assyrian who does make peace with Israel, but then once he gets in the camp, he then smites Israel with a rod. Israel was told by God not to be afraid of him because the Lord would drive him out and defeat him. I'm wondering if this is the Assyrian. He immediately said he wanted to sign the Abraham Accords and have peace, but this guy's a terrorist. This guy's an absolute terrorist. Okay, here they are yesterday. Ahmed Sharar got on an airplane, flew to Saudi Arabia, and this was not a scheduled meeting. But when Trump dropped all the sanctions off of Syria, this guy got on a plane, flew into Saudi Arabia, and met with President Donald Trump for about 15 minutes, and shook hands and did a photo op. In other words, he is now, and here's the thing. When I first started talking about this guy, when he first took over the palace in Syria and did the coup and ran Bashir al-Assad out of there, which Assad was a murderer, a butcher, he gassed people. I mean, he was awful. He had to go. But did you get anything any better? Well, this guy's not elected. He did a coup. He conquered Syria. He is a terrorist. He fought against the United States. We captured him in Iraq in 2003 and put him in a military prison for 5 years. When we released him, the guy ends up being a part of Al-Qaeda. And then he became the head of Al-Nusra. And then he started another terrorist group called HTS. And with the backing of Turkey, conquered Syria. So we're dealing here with a guy that I'm not so sure we should be all that happy about. I'm not happy about it. But I guess you get what you get. I guess at some point, somebody's got to be in charge, even if it's a bad one. At some point, somebody's got to be in charge. And over in that neck of the woods, there's not a lot of upstanding characters to pick from. So I guess this guy conquered. So Trump's thinking, you know what? Somebody's got to run that country. We got to get some stability in the region. All right. We'll let him be. He's president. All right. He's president. Let's see what he does. And meanwhile, we need peace. We need peace. And in the region, we got to stop all these bloody wars, is basically what Trump is saying. And we need peace. Okay. So, we need peace there. We need peace here. We need peace between these guys. And it'd be insane, but boy, wouldn't it be great if we could get peace with these guys? I don't see that one. I think you got to conquer that one. I don't trust this guy. I'm telling you right now, I don't trust this guy. But let me tell you a little bit about him. Yeah, Jesus is the only Prince of Peace. We know that. You're right. But we need peace until Jesus comes. We're to pray for peace. We're to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We're to, we're to be peacemakers. We're to try every way in the world to do it. And you got to do it with strength. In the Middle East, they don't understand anything but strength. So Trump's going to take the strong man right here. This is the strong man of Syria. And he's going to try to bring him and put an arm and put a headlock around him and say, all right, I'm going to make you president. I'm going to let the world know you're the guy. But you will do what I want you to do. Well, we'll see how far that goes. Guys, Trump's doing the old hold your friends close and your enemies closer. But I'm here to tell you, there's snakes in the grass. This very morning that this happened, and you can say what you want, but I do believe that God sends me prophetic. I know God speaks to me, and I know I get visions and dreams, and sometimes it's actually physical. And this is what was in my backyard this morning. I did a video on it. You can go watch the video. I asked people, what kind of snake is this? So far, 5 people have told me it's a copperhead, but and 2 others say it's a corn snake. It was 5 foot long, and it was hiding in the weeds, but I saw him. Bobo didn't see him, but I did. I think it's a corn snake. Maybe it's because I'm hoping it's a corn snake. I sure don't want to have a 5-foot copperhead in my backyard. Copperheads, of course, are poisonous. There is copperheads in Florida. So far, 4 out of 6 people have told me it's a copperhead. 2 said, no, it's a corn snake. I know one thing. I almost stepped on him, okay? That's how close I was. I was less than 1 foot. I mean, I was literally 1 step, less than a step. Or I would have stepped on this 5-foot snake. And the amazing thing was Bobo never seen him. Little Bo never saw him. And maybe that's good because she would have charged him. And that wouldn't have been good. Yeah, he's really big. I'm guessing 5 foot. He might have been longer. I mean, he was big. You could go check it out, guys. I did a full video. I actually videoed him, and on my Patreon channel. If you go to my Patreon channel, you can watch the video, and I even ask you to comment on it. Dave Webb says it's a copperhead, a copper-headed corn snake. Okay. Someone else said copperheads have that color and that pattern. Yeah, and they also have the triangle head. And this thing definitely has the triangle head. See if I can. I don't know if you can see that. It's if you go to Patreon, you'll get a better view. Well, let me ask you a question. Was I being shown this copperhead or corn snake, whatever it is? Was I being shown this huge snake in the backyard because we may have just let a snake like that into the world's backyard? Have we accepted this guy? Trump has, and the whole world has embraced him. But let me just say this. A week ago, after I went and did a video on this guy, and I said, could he be the Assyrian? I went to Google on him, and it talked about how he was a terrorist and how he was part of all these terrorist organizations, how we imprisoned him and all that. And today I went to Google to see what he's about, and there's a whole different story. It has a picture of him shaking hands with Donald Trump. His name is Hamed Sharara. Hamed al-Sharara. And here's what Google says about him now. It don't say that he's a notorious terrorist. That page has changed. It says he is the president of Syria. The president of Syria. He was not elected, guys. This guy took the power with a coup, a bloody coup. And Christians have been murdered, and Druze have been murdered, and Al-Whites have been murdered in 3 separate murdering. Now, maybe he didn't have anything to do with that. Maybe that's just because it's a country spinning out of control. I don't know. But he's a terrorist. The president of Syria, officially, he's now the president of Syria, Arab Republic. He's the head of state. He's the head of the government of Syria. This is what Google is saying today. The president directs the executive branch. He serves as the commander-in-chief of the Syrian army and the armed forces. The president represents the nation in international relations and formalizes treaties with foreign countries. And it tells you about different presidents they've had, but they're even calling this guy the incumbent. Hamed al-Sharara has become president since January 29th, 2025. He was not elected, guys. He led a terrorist organization and conquered Damascus. Took over the palace, ran Assad out of there. Assad ran to Russia, and he has taken power through strength, through terrorist attacks. So when you go there, it gives you this long history of different terrorist different coups that happened and different people. And we just get this big, long story of the history of Syria, and it does not give you no longer this guy's background. Okay, I'm thinking I should have recorded that. I should have just what in the world? So I mean, his history of being a terrorist has basically just been removed, and he's no longer looked at, and that record is just disappearing. He's now the president after he captured Damascus. I mean, besides that, he was part of Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, HTS. He fought the United States. We caught him. We captured him. We put him in military prison for 5 years. This guy's been a terrorist his whole life. And now he's the president of Syria, by de facto taking it over. But now the whole world has embraced him, including President Trump. And when Trump embraced him, that's it. There's no more discussion. Everybody is saying, okay, he gets to be the president. But I guess somebody's got to be in charge. Somebody does have to be in charge, even if he's bad. A bad leader, in some cases, is better than no leader at all, because at least there's some sense of control takes place. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Trump has decided we're going to work with this guy, even if we don't trust him. And I know Trump doesn't trust this guy. I know Trump knows the whole backstory of this guy. But Trump is this kind of a guy. He will bring his friends in close, but he'll hold his enemies closer. And we're going to have to watch and see. I'm keeping my eye on him. I'm telling you right now, I still think he is the Assyrian. I hope I'm wrong. But the Bible tells us that we will have this, a man rise up, and we'll have and give me 1 second. Let me grab the Bible. I was doing some studying there, and I have my Bible over there on my desk counter over there. So I'm just going to go to Isaiah real quick, doing this off the cuff and memory, just because it's bothering me, and I just want to regroup on it. So it's in the book of Isaiah. I believe it's chapter 10, but I might be mistaken. So I should have looked this. No, here it is. It is. So in Isaiah chapter 10, the Bible says this in verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. Talking about the Assyrian. O Assyrian. Let me read that again. I said Syria. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger and the staff in their hand is my indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil, to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Howbeit, he meaneth not so, neither doth his heart think so, but it is his heart to destroy and to cut off nations, and not a few. For he saith, are not my princesses altogether kings? So the Lord is saying here in the book of Isaiah that there's an Assyrian who's the rod of God's anger. The staff in their hand is my indignation, and he will come against nations, and he will take spoil, and he will take prey, and he will cause a lot of problems, okay? All right, Beggs, Drew, just hang on one second. I'm live on the air. I'll be right back to you. So there's, if you go to Micah chapter 5, and the again, we have to deal with this Assyrian, okay? So Micah's a little bitty book. Back here. There it is. In Micah chapter 5, the Lord speaks about this Assyrian again. And here's what he says. And I'll start at verse, it's Micah 5:5, okay? So you got Isaiah 10:5, and then it's Micah 5:5. Here's what he says. And this man shall be the peace, when the Assyrian shall come into our land, and when he shall tread in our palaces, then shall we raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men. And they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod in the entrances thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian, when he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth within our borders. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as the dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. So the Assyrian will come into the land of Israel, into the Holy Land. And, you know, he'll enter into the entrances. He will be there. The Assyrian, when he comes into our land, and when he treads within our borders. But he will be defeated. And God will raise up 7 shepherds and 8 principal men. I wonder if those 7 shepherds, could they be 7 pastors? And the 8 principal men, could they be 8 presidents or diplomats or, you know, officials? It's always been discussed a lot. I've heard this discussion so many times. Who are the 7 shepherds and who are the 8 principal men? I'm not sure. I think that we could talk about that forever, and there's all kinds of theories and thoughts. But certainly there's a man who is an Assyrian, and he does come into the borders of Israel, and he does appear to be a man that will work with Israel, but he will actually bring a rod. He will try to take, he will cause trouble, believe me. And I wonder, is the man that President Trump shook hands with today, is he the Assyrian? Or should we look for another? And is Trump holding his enemies close and is he holding all of his enemies close and his friends closer? Or is he holding his friends close and his enemies closer? And is there a snake in the grass. There's a lot more to go. Putin is supposed to meet with Zelensky tomorrow. And Trump has signed some big deals for the United States with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. But what about the Iranians and their nukes? Saturday was silent, and surely it was through. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? And Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb. Is it a copperhead? Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of a dry bones rattling. This is the praise, make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Pentecostal fire, stirring something new. You're not gonna run out of miracles anytime soon. Your resurrection power, it runs in my veins too. I believe there's another miracle here in this room. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is today. This is the praise, make a dead man walk again. This is yesterday. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. The world is changing. Are we holding our friends close and our enemies closer? Is there snakes in the grass? My God is able to save and deliver and heal and restore anything that He wants to. Just ask the man who was thrown on the bones of Elisha if there's anything that he can do. Just ask the stone that was rolled at the tomb. I almost stepped on him this morning. 5 foot long, hiding in the grass. Was this a sign? President Trump, be careful. Be careful, son of man. These bones are the whole house of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up from your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Then you shall know that I am the Lord, and I will put my spirit in you, snake, and I will place you in your own land, and copperhead you shall live. What is it? I will place you in your own land. You shall live, 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 live. You see the video. I actually do a video on this snake on my Patreon channel. Leave the comments. It's about a 1-minute video, and you get a real good look at him. I zoom in. I'm standing real close. Maybe I shouldn't have been. Was this a sign? Was this a sign? This morning, was this a sign? I almost stepped on it. I was walking the little dog Bo when I turned the corner in the backyard and almost stepped on this 5-foot snake. Was this a sign? Is President Trump holding his friends close and his enemies closer? Well, one thing's for sure. The President of the United States is not asleep on the beach. He is in the middle of the Middle East trying to put together economic and military arrangements that could bring security and peace, maybe temporarily, of course, for the world. Israel, of course, the whole 9 yards. And then tomorrow, Zelensky and Putin are supposed to meet in Turkey. And is Trump going to swing by? Well, you're looking right here at a picture of the new president of Syria, which he was not elected. He conquered Syria on January 29th, 4 months ago. And now he's standing in Saudi Arabia shaking hands with the most powerful man in the world, President Donald Trump. How do you go from a prison in Iraq under a military prisoner under the United States Army? U.S. captured him, and for 5 years they had this guy in a military prison in Iraq. How do you go from that to the president of Syria shaking hands with President Trump? Are you serious? I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Trump had to drop him off the terrorist list, the whole country of Syria. He had to relieve all the sanctions. He had to drop all the terrorism, and so that he could meet with the guy the next day, or we'd be meeting with the terrorist. So, wow. I'll be back.